get rid of this. Can everyone hear me? So, I'm way too close here.
You're fine.
So this is understanding your audience through numbers. This is a flip session. If you're not really clear what that means, there was a homework assignment. This is kind of the funny part of this whole thing. Actually, you want the microphone? Okay. Now, can you hear me now? Yes. Yeah, the sort of irony of the whole understanding your audience through numbers is they gave us the largest room in the place, and we only have some people here, so that's kind of funny. So, kind of the plan for this flip conference, or for this flip session, is basically we're going to have a discussion about analytics, how you use analytics, how you use it with your portal. Even if you're not a uPortal person and want to just understand analytics, what we're going to basically start off with is we're going to pass the microphone around, introduce yourself, tell us kind of what you're using analytics for, what you're looking for, how you use it with your portal if you're using uPortal, and kind of what you're trying to get out of this session. And we're going to kind of go around, and we're kind of closer, so I may just hand the microphone around if everyone can't hear. So, John.
I'm just streaming.
You're here for video.
I'm just for the streaming.
Okay, so I'm Mark Reese from Ohio University. We have Google Analytics on our website, although we don't currently, nobody seems to be using the data. So we've got a lot of data, but nobody's using it to determine how to better improve the website. And I'm the uPortal administrator, and I have not yet integrated Google Analytics into the uPortal, but I'm looking at going back and doing that.
My name is Connor Jones from the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. We have a homegrown portal. We use Google Analytics a lot for tracking usage. I'm here mostly just to sort of see what kind of sort of special setups we do the basic just page views and things like that. Sort of further digging into things like version, all sorts of things. How advanced we can sort of figure out what we're actually doing with our portal.
Hi, I'm Anna Kurtz from South Dakota State University, and we're currently using Google Analytics for our public site, and we're looking to bring them into your portal.
Hello, I'm Raymond with Research on the Apereo Open Academic Environment project. We use Google Analytics. We have integration for it, and we use it on our production environment as well. And we've mostly been using it to track growth, track demographics, and help us make informed decisions about browsers and words. And what I'd like to see is how we can kind of expand that usage to learn more about how our users use the system, as opposed to just kind of figuring who they are, but more information.
My name is Nadine. I'm from HEC in Montreal, and someone else said that it's not really a Google Analytics report, but I'm not sure.
I'm Nassim. I'm from Turkey, and we're using Google Analytics. I attend from the session to the next activities.
Hi, I'm Andy Marker with the University of Kansas. We are currently have Google Analytics on the CAS login page, and we are going to be putting it in the portal. Right now, we're using basic information about what types of devices our clients are using. However, we'd like to expand it further, and that's one of the reasons why we do these sessions, to learn about how to do it.
I'm Tim Raymond from Cal Poly Pomona. We're just spinning a uPortal, so we're going to be looking at how to capture all the information about it.
I'm Steve Caldwell from Manchester. We were on uPortal before, we don't yet have analytics going on the user.
My name is Jeff Davidson. I'm the LMS manager at the University of South Alabama. We currently have Google Analytics turned on the portal page. Part of the mission is just to see how we can utilize that data and how we can collect additional data, analyze it, and so on.
My name is Brian Wooten. I'm from the University of Utah. This year because I've seen Tom present before, so I thought I'd give him some more support.
Dave Steiner from Rutgers University. I work with CAS and affiliated sort of with the uPortal team. I don't think we're using it, and I'd like to learn a little bit about it to bring it back to the university.
I forgot to introduce our esteemed colleagues here that we have, because I'm walking around Brian Carter.
Hi, I'm Laura Forbes. I'm from White Whale Web Services. I used to be with the University of California, Merced. I've been a uPortal and CAS developer for about 8 years or so. And so I used to be the documentation coordinator of uPortal and the steering committee.
I'm Peter Sens, BYU. I'm a product manager and I'm a portal administrator as well. And that's it.
So if you guys want to kind of explain, just kind of some useful maybe Peter can start out just a little bit with regards to product management and how Google Analytics can help in that kind of thing.
First of all, are there specific questions that people have about Google Analytics in terms of the kind of data that you can retrieve from Google Analytics and use cases? Is there any specific questions you have to start out with?
I can, a question might be, with Google Analytics, I know that they talk about a lot of it's for marketing and in product. You know, what's your path through the website? How quickly can somebody click and buy something? As an educational institution, you don't necessarily, the last time I dealt with Google Analytics, I guess they termed it as goals. So how do you convert that kind of purchase something to, in the educational environment, you want the person to get to the information they need. How do you start looking at that and evaluating that through the numbers?
Okay, so yeah, go ahead with your question.
Another question that I have is, I use Google Analytics. I know it tracks changes when you actually put it on a link that goes to another page that creates a redirect or a response, and it goes back to the server and comes back. One of the things I'm actually interested in is a lot of the clicks in our portal now do not result in a server-side request. And one of the things I'd like to be able to get at is actually be able to track those client-side requests.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably do a quick run through of the kind of data you get out of Google Analytics, and maybe some of that data that is useful to a university versus corporation. Just kind of highlight some of the kinds of reports. So analytics is one about a visitor and their on-site journey in your through your web pages. It's about that individual or that IP address, basically, and how many visits, how many page views, age, gender, where they're coming from, what types of technology are they using in terms of OS and devices, and even what network they're coming to your site from, et cetera, et cetera. So it's all about, it's partly about the individual and who they are. So you get some demographic information about that individual. Analytics is also about features and layout of your website. So it focuses on some of the specific features that are most popular. How is your user engaged in your website? How do they flow through it? How long are they on your website? And I'll talk about goals in a second. But what landing pages do they, what pages do they land on? Maybe they're referred from another website to a specific page on your website. basically how is your kind of website laid out and how are the users using that website. It's also about the content in the website, which content is most used, what pages or content do your users land on and leave immediately. They're called exit pages. Bounce rate is also equivalent to what some analytics refer to as bounce rate. And in general, am I creating good content? Am I creating content that is easy to navigate to and does what we want it to do for our customers? Business goals is applicable to a university. You can define specific business goals that you want your users to do in your web pages. The funnel example on the screen shows an example of a user going to a home page, selecting a registration page link, starting that registration, completing the form, and that could be an example of a goal. Goals are usually things like confirmation pages or thank yous, or sometimes they're an event, sometimes they're a video that we want them to watch, that sort of thing. And so those goals are applicable even within a university environment. And you can track those specifically. Are they effective or not? Campaigns typically are kind of more on the marketing side, and they're usually more about AdWords or paid advertising and how effective is that advertising to your website or to sell product. Usually a little less applicable to universities, but there are paid for services at universities. Fine arts, concerts, sporting events, etc., that you can track. And is your marketing good for those kind of things? But you can also, and then there's the e-commerce side of it. I'm measuring sales, I'm measuring quantity of product that I'm pushing through. How many times people go to my website to look at purchasing a product but don't actually purchase it. Track that versus how many that purchase it. I have a little comment on the slide that says products at $0. You can be giving it away for free and still track that as a sold product. So it's not entirely unusable to universities. There's things you can track on the e-commerce side. Typically, though, e-commerce is about the bottom line and number of dollars, number of items sold. Analytics is also about traffic and where is the traffic coming from? Are they do they have a URL to my site that they land on it, or are they using a search engine like Google? Or are they using a paid search engine? Or are they referred from another site? Are they in Facebook and see a link and you click on it and come to my site? And you can track all of those sources of traffic, where they are coming from. You can track social media. How are people using social media to get to your site? And obviously a big one is search engine optimization. So if you're using the site search, you can look at the data coming through that search tool and optimize the search engine to make sure that people are getting to the right content in the right place. And analytics is also about technical design and performance. It's about how quickly are my pages rendering. Are there certain events that I've added to my web pages? Are they effective? Are they working well? In general, how is my sites performing? So kind of in a nutshell, those are the big ways that analytics is used. Any questions after I've gone through that?
So as far as where we can go with this is kind of fun thing with these flip sessions. There are a couple different ways we can go with this. How many people want to see how to set it up in uPortal? How many people want to see, like, for instance, how you set this up in CAS? I mean, how many people have actually done this before and or would like to see that? Just kind of show hands. So CAS or uPortal? Or both?
Yes.
Yes, so the answer is yes. An overwhelming yes with that. So I just, so the basic idea on how to set up your CAS server to do analytics, if you're familiar with setting up Google Analytics, basically what's going to happen is you're going to create an account with Google. And that basically gets you into the main screen. And at which point you can create a site. And usually the way BYU implemented this, we created a CAS site because if you use authenticated content, that means basically any authenticated page is going to be referred to the CAS site. So it's actually one of probably the most useful places to put your analytics because it will track almost everything on Canvas. It gives you a nice pulse of what's going on. Also, it's kind of nice from a portal perspective because if you're using deep links and that sort of thing, it actually will tell you, you can follow the click path. So if I'm in a portal and I want to go to, say, the HR system, I will get a hit on the analytics for the portal, and then I can actually follow that into, say, the HR system to figure out what they were doing inside of HR. Does that kind of make sense? So how to set this up is you go into Google, and they're going to give you a little snippet of JavaScript. And in CAS, you're basically going to put this on the bottom.jsp. Okay, you put this in there, at which point, you know, it's a generated thing. You paste it in there, and then you'll automatically start getting analytics. At which point, then you can start drilling around and creating custom reports and so forth. Does that make sense to everyone? Kind of basically, it's pretty straightforward. It's just like any other website you instrument with Google Analytics. So,
Okay. So I'm not sure if anyone has had the opportunity to try this with your own uPortal instance. There are various ways to do Google Analytics with the different versions of uPortal, but one of the most helpful is for version starting with 4.0.12. I created the documentation right here. I'm not sure if you have had the opportunity to try it. It's fairly straightforward. Now uPortal has a configurable option to add your Google Analytics information. So once you have your Google account all set up, and you get your code from Google Analytics on that side, there is a way that you can go in and use the Google Analytics configuration portlet to come over here and add that information. And it will go ahead and link it to Google Analytics. And one of the most helpful things about this is that now you can start tracking some of your groups. Here's an example of UC Merced's. We like to track a student breakdown. Undergraduates, those that are new who are continuing, alumni, admins, and applicants. So this gives the registration and admissions department an idea of who's utilizing our portal. That's been kind of one of the biggest questions that I've seen year after year is how many visitors are actually visiting the portal, and they want to know who to target and what information needs to go into the portal. So this has been very helpful. Also, in the configuration, what you can also do is you can create dimensions. Okay, so here's the dimensions. Here's our groups that we may be interested in. And this is when kind of like tags, you know, kind of goes hand in hand where we want to link that information with your Google Analytics account. On the Google Analytics side, this one uses Universal. I've created numerous custom dimensions that match up to the groups that I've set up in uPortal. So once those two are met, they kind of merge together, so that way now I can find my session and logins. And once you do this, now you can go ahead and start creating your custom reports. And there's a guide here that you guys can do once you get back home, is to go ahead and just play around with it, create a custom report, and there's different metrics and dimension drill downs that you can do. And once you've created those, you can go ahead and, with your reports, segments are basically one of the nice features with this, because this is when you can see your total logins and then do a breakdown based on your groups. And I'll show you an example of what I've done. And so here's just a guide on how you would go and achieve this. And let's see. So for example, on campus users, I've created several different segments. And then this breakdown I want to show, here's the blue line which demonstrates all the sessions, all the uPortal login sessions. And then the orange matches up with your total student body. So 87% of our logins are coming from students. And then you'll have the green line as an example, staff, 28%, faculty 3%. So this is kind of gives you a little bit of a breakdown of, okay, so this is only a percentage of my audience, what can I do to attract more people? So let me show you another example. With students, you can drill down even further. Here's an example custom report for students, and now I'm able to drill down and get a little visual graph of my undergraduate students versus graduate students, perhaps applicants. So this creates a really nice tool for those meetings that you have with, admissions, wanting to know how useful your portal is and how to target different information.
I think Peter wants to switch this up. Does anyone have any questions while I plug in? Any kind of things after seeing that? Okay, let's kind of a flex format here, so you can interrupt us at any time.
So the useful information you're getting from uPortal using Google Analytics is heavily relying upon the groups designated within.
That's the way that has been useful for me based on questions that I receive from various departments. That they're interested in learning using it. Now, this is just one example. We're hoping that other people will be able to contribute other reports that might be useful, and we can share them.
So while there's a lot of power in using Google Analytics on a particular site, looking at its effectiveness or ineffectiveness, there is even more power when you're able to examine that one site against other sites on your campus. For instance, looking at Portal alone gives you some good information, but when you compare that to CAS and all of the authenticated sites through CAS, you get even more information on how the CAS server is handling all that authenticated traffic, not just yours. And you can compare your site, your authenticated traffic to all of those other sites going through CAS. In addition, for example, BYU has a separate native mobile app, and we're able to kind of see how users are using that tool. And in addition, our homepage at our university, we're able to see the traffic, how users are using the homepage. The BYU homepage is except for CAS, is the most busy web asset we have on campus. And so we're able to see how people access that site from mobile devices or desktop, from within the Provo area versus outside the country, and what content in the homepage is most clickable and popular. And you're really able to really do a really good study between all of the sites to get some really good valuable information. So I encourage universities to have kind of an openness about the web analytics, be able to freely share that data amongst many groups and be very collaborative, and even to study that information together, I think is a very valuable thing. I just wanted to kind of show what Tom was discussing. So as you add an asset in Google Analytics, there's a property setting page where you just fill that out, and then they give you the JavaScript information that you can put on your website. It's very small, very easy to do. And then Google Analytics has the real-time reporting, so you can see active traffic. If you haven't used that already, it gives you information, kind of generic information about the traffic going through your site. And these views are customizable as well. So you can create dashboards, you can create views the way you like them. So you can consuming the information is most important.
Just kind of as a side question, I was just curious, we talked a lot about Google Analytics. Does anyone else use Adobe or anything else like that for analytics? Just curious if we have any other analytics here. Okay.
One idea that someone had suggested, Aaron Grant, do any of y'all know Aaron Grant from Oakland, right? He had suggested that using Google Analytics to track the use of fragments, targeting that to get an idea of, how often certain fragments are being used in uPortal. So that's something that's kind of, he's been wondering and maybe looking into. So there's other things other than just groups, again, that you can track.
All right, well, this is kind of the part of it where we want to get you sort of that last mile. I mean, this is kind of a one-on-one. So if you have questions, you can come up here and talk to us, or if you want us to see some of the stuff that you're doing and you want help with it, we'd be happy to do that kind of thing. Yeah, this is kind of up to you guys where you want to go. Just curious, what do you guys think of the flip session format? It's kind of a little more interactive. This is kind of the first time we've done that. Any sort of comments, feedback, what you guys think on this format? Are you all just really tired? This is part of the conference where everyone's like, please let me go to lunch. That could be very likely. We'll have analytics on that later. Okay, come up and talk to us. I mean, I think we're good for now. So come up and talk. If you have questions for us, we're happy to answer for it. So thanks for your time.
The internet's being extremely